Hey Aquarius, Ali from Indigo Ascension. Welcome to the channel. If this is your first time here, please do go ahead and check the description box below where you're going to find links to my Facebook page, my website address, as well as my Instagram page. Now, on the YouTube channel, you're going to see fortnightly and monthly readings for all of the zodiacs. However, unique and only on Instagram, I do quick reads. So I post them up every weekend in time for the Monday to give each of the zodiacs a heads up perhaps about the energies and potential experiences they may be crossing paths with for the week ahead. So please do go ahead and check out your weekly quick read for July 13th. This week has already been posted. Now, I'm about to do your reading for July 16th to the 31st. I've already posted your first fortnight of July on the YouTube channel, so go ahead and check that out. I wanted to do something a little bit different this fortnight, guys. We are smack bang in the middle of retrograde season, so I wanted to do like the retrograde classroom. Perhaps I'm able to connect into a lot of the collective Aquarians out there that may be experiencing similar retrograde themes, okay? So the retrogrades primarily, without going into the full astro talk, we've had a significant amount of planets in retrograde for us all. Ideally, in a very simple couple of sentences, what this has been about is love versus fear, freedom versus restriction. We're looking at ways in which to build from the ground up new rules, new ways of doing things, reviewing old ways that we have done things and what we've learned from that. And this crosses the area of life, love, expression, creativity. All of the planets have been taking us on a journey, Aquarius, into the past in one way or another. And yes, certainly the past can come back up to play for very practical reasons. Sometimes it's because we have repressed an opportunity to heal, and that's why it shows up again. So I wanted to do a retrograde classroom, okay? So to perhaps even connect in with collective themes that I might be picking up on for the Aquarians out there. I do see here in the energy cards that Aquarians have been working with themes of courage, purpose, and humor, okay? Perhaps, and even with the humor card, I'm picking up on that in many ways, whether you've experienced, disappointments, betrayals, pains of the past. Perhaps you're looking at your past with a whole new lens, a whole new heart, a whole new mindset, Aquarius. You're really seeing the purpose of why things had to happen exactly as they did to get you to where you are. Those old situations, experiences, the energy cords that we struggled so long to perhaps disconnect from, Aquarius, you're truly seeing the purpose behind all connections, all experiences, situations that were crucial milestones in your journey. I do see here many Aquarians are perhaps stepping outside of their comfort zones when the courage card shows up, okay? You may have found since April, there are things that you probably would not have done a year ago or 6 months ago, or even just expressing your truth, expressing your true essence. We are moving into the age of Aquarius. And subconsciously, many Aquarians are feeling this inner pull to finally shine their light, to finally be themselves, to step into themselves after perhaps feeling like you've had to hide yourself on some level for your whole life. What does courage mean for you? What does purpose mean for you? Maybe I'm connecting into many Aquarians that are truly embracing the energy of courage and stepping into their purpose. So you've experienced shifts in mindsets, shifts in relationship dynamics. Old friendships have been falling away. Relationships have been falling away. Perhaps you're really connecting into your own soul purpose, all right? So stepping into a greater career role, something more aligned to what your heartfelt desires are. So on practical levels, that might be career shifts, being drawn to more esoteric stuff as well. You guys are essentially a higher consciousness vibing energy, and anything to do with higher consciousness, especially when we're in a lot of stuck energy, which is the gift of these retrogrades, is to get us out. It's the higher vision is what we're looking for, and being able to align to that is something that comes naturally to you. So take that however it resonates. I've pulled some tarot cards as well. Again, this courage theme is there, and being able to sense the purpose of things is here as well. I do see, let's have a look underneath the deck before I interpret all of this. I do see here that many Aquarians that I'm connecting into, are starting to see the manifestation of perhaps a hope, a vision, an idea, a version of yourself that you knew was there, okay? Maybe you're connecting into connections, realities, experiences, careers, whatever the case may be. Maybe you, at one point, and I'm really drawn to the last 5 months, or at least 5 years ago, which sort of set the cogs in motion, Aquarius. You knew this time would be coming, okay? And now perhaps in many ways, you're seeing the manifestation of that. I do look at this card, the Three of Wands, and also want to say many Aquarians are ready to walk away. After having to face the courage, after seeing the true nature and purpose of conflicts, or at least your conflicts with others, or the continual theme of conflict within your life where you're feeling conflicted between being your true self and having to wear a mask in many ways, or to comfort the insecurities of others is what I hear, Aquarius, okay? So old roles as empaths that we play when we somehow take on the responsibility of being that higher consciousness vibe, that empath, that healer, because other people are not quite at that level of consciousness, okay, is what I do here when it comes to you guys. I wanted to say that I'm feeling many Aquarians are ready to truly walk away from old ways in which you engaged in dynamics within connection, okay? On practical levels, that might mean, you know, friendships falling away, saying no, putting boundaries down, no longer attracting the same sort of romantic partners too, because you're identifying the ways in which dynamics were starting to play out, and repeating patterns is what I hear as well. I see here in the past there was something that took quite a lot of courage to really get you to this next level of your journey, this next level of this relationship, this experience, this career. There was a risk here, and it took quite a lot of courage. Maybe it does connect into your purpose, okay? On practical levels, that could be being able to speak your truth and say, this is who I am, this is what I want to pursue now. I know I've done this for 10 years, 15 years, whatever the case may be. I'm also picking up on an Aquarian that is going outside of the comforts of family boundaries, okay? So maybe you embarked on a career path or made lifestyle choices that was akin to what would be normal for your family, and you're really finding yourself like a black sheep kind of thing at this time in your life, where you had to step out. Because I feel family with this. When I see this at the center of my reading, and I see there's conflict here, okay, and certainly it's outside conflict, but at the center of the reading, you really had to remove yourself or see yourself with a whole new lens, okay? Your intentions, your motivations, the reasons why you were tangled up in this conflict, why you have been holding on to conflict, or why conflict has been a part of your life for such a long time. Hence, why I was really drawn to family in some way, because when I think a long time, you know, maybe that is ingrained dynamics within family relationships, but in very many ways, Aquarius, this could be long-standing friendships, relationships we have with colleagues, relationships we have with our marriage partners or long-term partners, okay? So take it however it resonates. It took quite a lot of courage for a lot of the Aquarians I'm connecting into to remove themselves and choose to see themselves in a really authentic way, to see themselves and their dynamics and their purpose in a whole new way. So you can really understand the idea of this conflict that was ultimately always like a niggling thing. It was always there. And we can do, you know, we can do the family thing, we can do the friendship thing and show up to workplaces, but there was like this niggling thing I'm picking up here, and it got to a point perhaps for many other Aquarians, you know, this is the retrograde classroom. This is the value of being able to sit within a classroom that is being taught by several planets that are here with their own unique divine energy essence to teach us something, okay? When I sit next to you in a classroom, how I take on board that information is solely unique to my perception. How you learn and how you take on board that information is solely unique to you, Aquarius. But I see here in many ways there's quite a big collective theme for a lot of Aquarians about long-standing relationship dynamics. Now you can go even further still and really get into the crux of what intimacy means for you. Maybe you're chopping and changing your viewpoints, how you've always been conflicted, how it always took a lot of courage to be truly authentic and vulnerable, to allow others in, you know, to the chambers of who you are. You are a very disconnected sign in that essence. You see things from a higher view, and it's also the safe zone, yeah? I do see here, you know, that might even be a reason why we continue to agree to partake in karmic dynamics within family, within friendship groups. The role we have always played is what I keep hearing, and there's many Aquarians that are really disconnecting from that as they embrace the energy of courage to truly step into their purpose, and also more importantly to truly see the purpose why everything had to happen exactly as it did, which led you to here, you know, the concepts and themes of betrayal, pain, anguish, really deep hurt, and the instances that cause these things within our relationships are significant on our healing journey, Aquarius. But sometimes, you know what, all the time actually, the divine steps in, and sometimes that comes packaged as being pushed towards our destiny. And to be able to truly disconnect from the energy cords of the past, where we were hurt, where we were betrayed, where we were let down, whatever the case may be, we truly know that we are free of that baggage, of those triggers, of being connected energetically to the memories of our past, to people of our past, when it no longer triggers us in the same way. That's what I feel here. Many Aquarians have really actively chosen to disconnect from the illusions. Okay, the Hangman is a Neptune card. Neptune is currently in retrograde along with Jupiter, Saturn and Pluto. We're really getting to the crux of our deeper subconscious drives. And yes, on a soul level, we choose these dynamics, Aquarius, because we must, for some reason or another, meet the shadow before we meet the light of ourselves in the mirror. Because it's the shadow that we're most afraid of, yeah? We're scared of the dark as children, and it's the first theme that sort of enters our consciousness about truly learning to connect to our intuition, which is what it is. In the dark, I must rely on my intrinsic senses and knowing and ability in that regard in order to navigate my way forward, because the sunlight's not there, I can't see. Like when we get hunches and ideas that we can, you know, this even feels like hidden conflict, the hidden motivations of others, because like this, when I see these two cards, Aquarius, maybe you have always felt like this in every connection in your life in one way or another, career, love, or whatever the case may be. You know, sure, I could really do my head in and say, God, am I just a mistrustful personality? But am I also just highly sensitive, Aquarius? And I've had to mute those sensitivities my whole life because I was always cornered to a point where I was confused, because on the surface everyone's happy, there's a lot of goodwill toward me, there's a lot of good actions, you know, but what was I sensing? Why was I sensing ill intention? Why was I sensing this hidden energy? It was always here, is what I want to say, this conflict energy. When I see these two cards married up like this, it's almost like conflict was hidden. Okay, and in very practical ways, maybe on some level, many Aquarians during this retrograde season over a period of a few months since April, and don't get me wrong, it goes all the way through to November, guys, that we're processing this energy, we're experiencing the fallout of this energy and the eruptions that's coming up from within the subconscious. Maybe many Aquarians were suddenly illuminated to truth of the hidden motivations of others, okay? And you're still processing that. But you knew this on some level, okay? Don't mistake the fact that you took a lot of, you know, there was one point in the timeline during this retrograde season that you embraced courage, you know? It's that 20 seconds of feel the fear and do it anyway. You chose something outside of what you normally do. So maybe you put a boundary line down. Maybe you just didn't answer that call. Maybe you didn't engage, Aquarius. Or maybe you actually finally voiced and said, hey, you know what? You've actually been doing this to me my whole life. And this is the role I've agreed to play, but not anymore. No more is what I'm feeling here. Because the Justice card lies in the future. It's like your future vision. Your whole highest ideal was to truly drop karmic patterning, was to truly receive the justice that was yours. And sure, in the shadow element, maybe in many ways, this energy, this conflicting energy that always lay within Aquarius was always a deep desire for someone to get their just desserts, so that you receive your justice for whatever it is that you've been through. Maybe you've been dealing with an ongoing conflicting situation in your life. Take it however it resonates. Okay, in the shadow element, we can want to seek retribution in many ways. However, when we surrender it to the divine, when we courageously open to vulnerability and just accept the fact that things happen because sometimes destiny is calling to us, and a part of that process is to be let go of, to be betrayed, to be let down and disappointed, because the divine, our higher self, is pushing us towards the connections, the people that we are meant to align with. Sometimes when karmic lines drops, it can feel completely painful, which is what we know about the Tower card, yeah? All right, the Justice card is also numbered 11. Master 11 is the Master Intuitive. This is about remembering karmically the purpose of your intuition and embracing it for what it is. And it's also time for you to truly drop your false sense of fears, your false conflicting ideas about your intuition and the role it plays in your life, because it has always been here. It has always navigated you. Perhaps you call it something else. Perhaps this intrinsic knowing you don't package as something spiritual. Take it however it resonates, Aquarius. This higher consciousness you have always had access to is almost perhaps even being amplified to a point that you can't even ignore it anymore in this retrograde classroom during 2020. 2020 as a master number, okay, it reduces down to master 22. It is the master teacher. What has life taught me? What has my intuition taught me? It also reduces further down into the number 4. 4 is about building foundations, new consciousness, new beliefs, bringing back old beliefs that we perhaps felt we had to let go of because we were playing a role, Aquarius, okay? So take that however it resonates. I do see here many Aquarians are wanting on their deepest soul levels to connect into the energy of courage so that you can align to the energy of purpose. And there's a lot of freedom that comes when we truly can see the purpose of why everything had to happen exactly as it did. You know, it frees us from karmic binds, which is energetic freedom, which is soul freedom in many ways. And like the humor card, like look at the center of the humor card, there's a giggling Buddha. And that's what makes him Buddha. Like he really can connect into that level of consciousness where he is jolly. How many of us can truly say that we wake each day genuinely content, happy, being able to connect with the energy of joy like we did as children? You know, sometimes shit things happen in life and we're really down for a long time, and sometimes we have to keep going because we've got children to feed and bills to pay and whatever the case may be. And on the surface we seem okay and we say we're okay, but deep down there's this existing conflicting energy that's always been there. I'm conflicted with the life I'm leading. I'm conflicted with the boundary lines I find myself having to play within because it's just what we do here. That's just the family values. This is just the roles we play. This is how this relationship dynamics has always been my whole life. Take it however it resonates, Aquarius. A lot of you connecting into the idea of freedom that comes from truly embracing your own courage to connect into the purpose of who you are. And maybe, you know, you've laughed your way through what truly pained you and the times you felt like you couldn't be yourself. You know, the slings and arrows of life, when you truly couldn't connect into the freedom of vulnerability and just be yourself because you had to play this role. And that's what subconsciously a lot of Aquarians are connecting into as we move into the age of Aquarius. It is time for you to shine. It's time for you to show us the way. You know, those ideas, the ways you guys think, anything you have kept suppressed because society, the old world told you it was not quite right, it was weird, it was outside the box. You know what? The collective is screaming for outside the box now because we are sick and tired of the same old, and subconsciously we are all awakening to a deeper need to really ascend into new paradigms, new beliefs, new ways of being, connecting. You know, there is no way that we can experience divine 5D unconditional love if we keep this patterning that keeps us stuck in 3D energy, where love is based on fear and ego. When we're seeking approval, acceptance, we're seeking to hang on to the familiar because it's always been there. To truly say that we can connect into unconditional love is perhaps a foreign concept for many of us consciously, you know, collectively as a consciousness. You know, maybe even the parent-child relationship dynamic is the only connection in which that we can experience that. And we all see, as a society, even that doesn't happen, and it's heartbreaking to see. So who's to say that we can love each other as brothers and sisters and truly, genuinely, unconditionally love one another? I feel in many ways, personally, we have a very, very long way to go. And this is the purpose of us moving into the age of Aquarius, is there is another way. There is another way to be, another way to experience vulnerability, another way to experience freedom and trust and love. And we're processing all this shadow stuff in the meantime, in the interim, okay? And that's the value of the retrograde classroom, my lovely Aquarius. So that was your retrograde classroom reading for July 16th to the 30th as we approach midway point of our retrograde experience for 2020. Let's pull a healing card for you from the Whispers of Healing Oracle deck. So go ahead and check out your monthly, which is on the YouTube channel, as well as your first fortnight of July. Generally speaking, I date all of these readings, however, they're timeless. They're soul messages, so maybe something in May resonates with you now. All right, meditation, going into temple. It's like my favorite activity. What number is that? 3. Connect into your creative expression. Connect into communication. Connect into the energy of joy, okay? This also is reminding me of this Buddha, this giggling Buddha, to remind yourself of the humor. Connecting into meditation for many Aquarians are going to really help you transmute the deeper purposes and reasons why behind what the retrograde season might be offering you. You might be dipping back all the way back to the past. You might be looking at situations that are challenging you now. You might be doing forward focus meditation about seeing your future self, your future life. Okay, depending on where you're at, Aquarius, connecting to meditation, it can be used across the timeline, not just to help us heal, not just to help us get some clarity on the here and now, but to inspire us about the future, okay? That is your reading for July 16th to the 31st. I hope you got something out of that. Please do go ahead, like, share, comment. More importantly, let your other empath, intuitive, and sensitive friends know where to find me. That was your reading, Aquarius. I'll see you next time. Take care.